Oh, this one hurts a little bit. You know, Obsidian is I've known a lot of people at Obsidian for a very long time, and this kind of hurts to talk about because we had such high hopes for them. But let's talk about what's going on. And so this is Obsidian with the Triple S League. I'm here with MoonTAGG.
Hi.
And we are sitting back and looking at this dumpster fire of an art director who is just going out to attack fans, to call people names, to really do some weird and kind of creepy accusations and name calling and stuff like that. It's kind of weird. So when you're in the service industry, I worked in the service industry for a while, and I got fired because I'm autistic and I can't control my tongue sometimes. But when I was in it, my boss told me, and he got upset at me one day because I had been short with a person, and he said, "You don't do that. Doesn't matter what they've done, unless it's violent or unless it's like attacking somebody else. It's like you don't do that because we're not in the industry of making enemies. We're in the industry of serving people and giving them a good time so that they can you know, do stuff off their work time." And so when you have somebody who's like, "No, I want to alienate an entire group of people based off of nothing but their looks." First of all, it's extremely racist. And second of all, it's extremely stupid because as a great man once said, everybody buys shoes. I'm obviously not quoting him verbatim, but yeah, there was a dude who said everybody buys shoes. So why treat people differently? Why treat people rudely? Why try and attack people? And I've called up and chatted today with a whole bunch of people, which I will not name, and I made sure that there's no way of kind of tracking, how they're connected to me. But yeah, I asked them what in the world is going on, and so I've got some stories to tell about Obsidian Entertainment and what in the world is going on with Avowed. So that's the thing. Mooney, what did you think of the when you watched the kind of like the what's going on? What's your first impression of everything?
Everything is on fire. Basically. It's like
Right?
what the hell is going on? Who signed off on this? What made you guys think this was a good idea? Cuz like as far as history has gone, it's generally been not a great idea.
Yeah, and I mean, especially recently too. And that's the thing. It's like just a day or two ago, Elon's talking about all these games that he's playing, and they're all getting boosts because he's like, yeah. So when you play, X and X or such and such a game, it forces you to kind of like, focus your energy, and that allows your brain to rest in different areas. This is why I play video games, because I need to. My brain doesn't turn off. I can't turn off. So the only time I get a chance to turn off, even remotely, is by like getting my brain busy on another task completely. And it's like some work stuff does that, but it's mostly like very complex, like high skill ceiling like gameplay. I've heard that chess does that exactly the same, and I used to be quite a bit into chess when I was young. But yeah, so that's why people are like, he's talking about it, and it's like, take the win of a free like shout out to hundreds of millions of people. But no, there's some people out there who go, no, I want to spit in their face because I don't like their politics. Which again is weird because it's like he's very diehard free speechy, and it's like, all right, so you're telling me you want the government to control speech, and it's not the guy who you voted for going into power, and you now want the government to tell you what you can and can't say. Like, is this just like somebody who doesn't know how to do basic logic puzzles? What's going on here? So yeah, so So yeah, let's get into the juice. So I called around. And I said, what in the world is going on? And I got a bunch of different answers. A lot of people are like, we just want to release a game. We just want to get a good solid win. We are not interested in doing this kind of stuff. We don't know why this is being allowed. Leadership just seems to be like completely disinterested in what's going on, and that's not healthy. In this case, leadership here is I can't remember how to pronounce his name. I never liked him, but I want to say Ferguson, or it's Fergus. Ferragus.
However you say it.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of him. I was never a fan of him. I knew, we've done an interview with Chris Avalon before, and I know a bunch of other people that kind of were there. They only have about 200 employees ish right now. It's been a while since they've updated their numbers. But ever since getting bought out by Microsoft, they have been increasing a little bit. But yeah, this guy has come out, and this art director, Hansen, I want to say, but no, that's probably wrong. He's the art director. I'm trying to pull up his name because I literally kind of shut his name out in the sense of I really don't want to bother with this guy because he seems to be kind of really vile and full of a lot of hate. So, so I spoke with a bunch of people, a bunch of friends, not all current employees. Some have left, over the years. And for people who don't know, a lot of Obsidian Entertainment came from Interplay. Interplay made the original Fallout 1 and 2. They did a whole bunch of stuff that was really high quality, really, really good, and then they just kind of fell apart during the big shift to 3D games and the amount of expertise that took, and a lot of companies lost their way because they tried to shift from what they were doing to something that they were completely not familiar with at all, and that just kind of broke their spine. So yeah, so we've got the director of the game is Kerry Patel, and then this guy who's causing all the hubbub, his name is Matt Hansen. Now Matt said some really inflammatory stuff, being happy that he's made people angry, specifically Elon Musk for some reason, being hyper toxic in that, and yeah. So I asked them what's going on, and most everybody at the company says that they just want to make good games. They just want to make a good experience for people to enjoy, and they want to prove that Obsidian can be, their team can be a really, really amazing people. And that they don't know why this is being allowed. They feel like there's just a giant air gap of leadership at the company, and nobody's telling this guy to stop getting mad at people, just for things that are kind of it's kind of like a perspective opinion. It's you don't have to try to crucify people over this. You don't have to you catch more bees, you catch more flies with honey, right? And this guy's using he's not just using vinegar. He's using industrial acid.
Yep,
it's
much.
It's dude, just calm down for 5 seconds. Just
stop
not
it. Stop.
Yeah, everybody's not your enemy. And that's the sucky thing. So yeah, so this has been kind of really messed up. But yeah, speaking to these people, going, what's going on here? I got the same thing from a bunch of people, and a bunch of people said that nobody really likes Matt. He tends to walk around the office and act like and this is a quote, high priest. Another person mentioned that he kind of acts like an archbishop or a cardinal, and I mean it's this is really common. The amount of times off the top of my head that I can recall somebody in a company walking around, spending most of the day talking about how great they are. It's like
There's no substance.
thankfully, it's been a long time since I've worked for a company that's ever had anybody like that. But we have worked for companies where people acted like that.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen that recently, not in the like past like 5-6 years. But I do know, and I have heard from a lot of people in like just talking about their bosses, talking about bad experiences. There's usually sometimes somebody who walks around, they think of like they're so elevated in their mind that they're just above everybody else. They'll tell everybody who's not, who they don't know how to do their job, and they'll just kind of be that like oppressive force that kind of like hangs around. I got some other comments that I simply can't share because I was asked not to. Period. Like everybody knows, I do social media stuff, and they said please don't mention. It's not A, B, and C. It's like D, G, F, M, and N, and R. And it's like so without mentioning those things, I don't think a lot of people are like, oh, like Obsidian is toast. They've been infected. It's like, no. From what I've heard, a lot of people just flat out do not like this guy, and apparently, this person Matt has gotten in trouble in the past. It's like he's been there for a while, so everybody gets in trouble every now and then. But apparently, he didn't take it so well once, and I talked to somebody and I kind of laid out like everything to this other person that I know who's seen a lot of this kind of stuff in the past. Has seen a lot of drama inside, especially game companies. I said, "What do you think?" And they said, "You know what I think? I think this person got in trouble in the past for something that was really not great, but he couldn't be fired because there just wasn't enough proof. So what they've done, and this isn't the first time I've seen this, they've just kind of gone like ultra like hard one direction, essentially, going, oh, I'm now a pure like perfect employee because I've changed my viewpoint on a bunch of stuff, and I'm now shoving it down, everybody's throat. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. I think that might be it. The other thing that I kind of got from another guy is like, everybody's really kind of like getting more upset with him because they know that if there's an enormous backlash, then the game's not going to sell as good, and they're not going to get their bonuses.
Nope.
And part of me is wondering, is that Matt's plan? Is Matt so angry at the people that he works with that he wants to essentially cost them all their bonuses for the game performing well and selling well? Especially if the game comes out and it's pretty good. And he goes, I can't tank it through this other stuff, so I'm going to try and tank it in like the ways that I can. And he's being very vocal about like how the default, character looks a certain way and has certain presets about them that is directly aimed at kind of making people angry. So part of me is wondering, is like, I honestly think that that's probably more likely, especially if the leadership, because again, Fergus is not a very good leader. He's never really been a good leader. He's constantly undersold himself. Yes, he's had a lot of problems in the past that were not his fault, but I have kind of been of the opinion for a long time that leadership needed to go because they just didn't have their heart in it anymore, and I don't think they were really like there for it. And that's a few people, including this Kerry Patel and the big boss over there. And a lot of people did tell Microsoft, like, hey, fire, like, you take the top like 5 people and you got to fire at least 3 of them because they're just not good for the company, and they've been causing issues for a really long time. But because of like ways that they have like job protection, it's like that's not an easy thing to do. So yeah, so that's the theory, and there's a couple there. There is some there is some people kind of throwing out, it's like, oh yeah, no, the whole studio has become brainwashed. I don't believe that, because most of these people are kind of like straightforward and pretty clean cut. A lot of these people have been in the games industry for a long time. A lot of these people are actually really excited with the prospect that they might be able to work on a Fallout game again, and their work speaks for themselves. A lot of the normal people, the people who make up the majority of the workforce, are just regular, like, get to work, make something beautiful, take pride in it kind of people. They're not overly political. They never have been. But it doesn't take very many people in an environment to kind of skew the perception of an organization into the political field one way or the other. It literally only takes a handful of people. And so yeah, so there's this kind of thing. But you might be asking, all this is great, grain of salt, lots of hearsay. What can you say that's actually like, what is the evidence that you can point to that really leans this in one actual direction? And for that, I actually do have some proof. And it's a proof that you can double check on your own. You can confirm pretty easily, and all you need is a LinkedIn account. And actually, I don't even think you need to be logged in to like check. But this guy, this Matt Hansen guy, is saying that he wants to replace all the white crusty dudes with people of color, and and especially black people, because
Oh my gosh, because
he wants
who
them
cares
to
about
replace
skills?
Right? Yeah.
It's all for the look.
And so I've got two things to say about this. One, I posted this the other day on our Twitter, which we're now kind of back trying to make Twitter a thing again, or X, sorry. I'm now posting on X a little bit more frequently. So here's the interesting thing. One, this guy says he wants to bring in all these people of color, all this kind of stuff. It's like, okay, that's fine if they got the skills for the job.
Yeah.
Or if you think that they've got a passion that they can bring that's unique, it's like, I'm all up for that.
By all means,
but
right?
Out of curiosity, how many obvious people of color do you think work at Obsidian out of 200 people that are colored, the way that he's saying it, right? The way that he's broadcasting that he wants to bring these people in, which really sounds like he's using them as a commodity, which makes me feel that he's not very genuine about this. But the numbers are going to shock you. Out of the people that are pretty front and center on the LinkedIn, which is a lot of them. It's over 100 employees are on LinkedIn, almost 150 that I can go through and I can check directly. Only 3 of them are an obvious person of color. And
Wow.
Most of those are not in this guy's department.
Nope.
In fact, I don't think any of these guys are in his department. By guys, I mean people in general. So a handful of so this is kind of weird. This guy's been saying this for a long time, and he supposedly has some power as far as the hiring department goes, but he actually hasn't hired anybody that he's stumping for. That I'll just say it, that he's using as a prop to make his company look bad. That's very concerning, that you have a guy who's saying one thing, but his product is another. And that kind of really leans me in the sense of, this guy's not genuine. He is either using this as a cover, he's virtue signaling, or he's trying to literally sabotage his fellow employees by ruining this game's release, and then laughing about it as he probably goes ahead, until the company falls apart, or gets closed up by Microsoft. This, and the way that he's saying this stuff is he's opening the company up for lawsuits, as Chris Avalon pointed out. So yeah, so this is something that you can look at. You can go through, unless the large group of the people that aren't on LinkedIn are all just not these kinds of people, then that seems very odd and very strange. And Like, this is it's genuinely really messed up, and I get the feeling like, so I myself am a person with a disability. Mooney is somebody who's not a white person.
Mm-hmm.
Both of us know when we're talking to people who are using us or attempting to use us for clout, right? I mean,
Yep.
you experience it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I experience it quite a bit. People wanting to hold up me as kind of like a, oh look, aren't I so wonderful because I'm helping this person, but they're
Wow,
not
so
actually helping
brave.
me. I've been, I mean, just over the last like year and a half, I've been told I would be helped by a lot of people, and it turns out that that was all just smoke and mirrors.
Nope.
There was no intention to follow through at
No follow
all.
through. Nope.
So we know when that's happening to us, and I really get the sense that that's what's happening here. That this guy's not actually interested in is certainly not interested in anybody replacing him, because if he was that happy and that excited to be replaced, you'd think he just would find somebody, spend 3 months tutoring them, and I don't want to use the G word because it's kind of ruined now by other things, but training them up to replace them, you know, and then just go and live by the river if you want. Like no, the only person who's stopping you from doing that is literally yourself. And he's very gun ho about it in some of these videos. In this one video, he was very gun ho about it. But then again, it's like, where's your action? Where's your follow up? Where's your stuck into your gusto? Where
Yeah,
is any
it's
of
like,
that?
where's any of the substance behind what you're saying and doing?
Exactly. And we look at Larian, and they're doing a great job hiring people there, and they've created a wonderful game that everybody agrees is good.
Heck yeah.
There's a few crazies that are like, I don't like this game, but it's like everybody agreed that it was good and that it was done well and that you had the options to just do whatever you wanted. Like, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what people want. But for some reason, Maddie over here is just going, hey, this, that, and the other thing. So he's really kind of not shown that he's actually got the follow through and
Nope.
that he's actually like capable of sticking that out. And he doesn't have a. I tried to look for it, but there was nobody who came out and was like, yeah, Maddie really helped me when I was in a bind. I just got out of college, and all the jobs were, all the stuff was bad happening in the industry, and he really helped me out. It's like I couldn't find one person saying that. So the question is he just is he just blowing smoke up something? And I really think, after looking at this, I think this guy is doing that, and I'm leaning heavily towards the idea that he's intentionally trying to tank this game because he's angry at the people that he works with. Not all of them, clearly, because if he really was, then he'd probably just leave. But he's got this like core group of like leadership around him that's kind of like, yeah, let's do this, yeah, yeah, and I think that's what's going on here. And I don't, and I think the fact that Fergus hasn't done anything about this, and you've got Microsoft not doing anything about this, it just comes down to people are afraid to speak out, say, hey, shut up, you're ruining the experience, you're ruining this thing that we're trying to do,
Yeah, it's
and
like, you
you're
may think
doing
you're
this.
helping, but you're not actually.
Yeah, no, and I think that's the point. Is like, I think he's not, like, I think he's intentionally not doing this well, like, and that's what's causing this problem. So yeah, that's my thought. I I'm trying to like get a better hold, get a sense, but a lot of people are still very afraid. They're afraid to speak out. They're afraid to say, hey, this guy doesn't speak to us, it's for us, right? Like this is not somebody who I think
As
is actually
representative.
has,
Yeah.
yeah, is either a representative or is standing out to do something in an appropriate way. And like I won't, like, that's just what I think. And all of this is just, at this moment, is still basically conjecture and trying to figure stuff out, because I can't like I can't pin down anything, and I can't talk about some stuff, and I can't whip out a photo reel and go, hey, look here, on such and such a date, such and such a thing was happening, and look at what so and so is doing. It's like I can't do that because obviously privacy. People want their privacy, but also because people are afraid of standing up and speaking out against somebody who's doing this, and especially in the way that the games industry is right now. That's terrible. And then the one final thing that I'll say about this, and where I really want to point this out, where I think he is extremely disingenuous, if not a complete idiot, when it comes to what he claims, which is like he wants people of color to come in and replace him. You're not a very good person if you're going to people and telling them, hey, jump into the games industry right now, working for a major publisher. That's not a good idea right now, period. Like all of the people that have been fired in the last year and a half from the games industry, all of the people who are out of a job, all of the people who uprooted themselves, moved to a new country, to a new city, and that were proceeded to get laid off by a company, by one of these big mega companies who had no idea what they were doing. It's not just the big mega companies, it's the small double A's too. We just lost 2 other studios yesterday. And telling somebody like, hey, get into the games industry right now is a very bad idea. One of the best ideas that you can tell somebody who wants to get into the games industry right now is make something yourself. Become an indie developer, because there's more money in the indie development side right now for the actual people making these games than there is in the security of working for these big companies. Because, I mean, hey, one of your favorite games from last year, that music rhythm game, what was that one called again?
The rhythm music game.
Yeah, he's got the
it's on the
tape
tip of
player.
my tongue. Hang on, it's like Rush. Was it something?
Hi-Fi Rush, right?
Yes, Hi-Fi Rush. That's the one. Yeah.
So you really enjoyed Hi-Fi Rush.
Heck yeah.
Guess where all those people that worked on that game are right now?
Where?
Not working in the games industry because they all got fired.
What? No.
Yeah. Like I know you missed the story, but yeah, it was brutal. It's like they got fired. They made a smash. That game won an award.
Yeah.
Yes, it didn't make hundreds of millions of dollars,
but it was very well received.
I was told that it broke even. But it really wasn't advertised, so who's really at fault there? Like, if you don't really advertise a product, you don't really push it out, you don't really support it in any way, shape, or form, then you're like, it's like working at a carnival, and the carnival owner puts you, puts your little ice cream stand in the middle of in the middle of the garbage piles, with all the dumpsters and all the wasps and the bees and the flies buzzing around. It's like nobody wants to go to you. And then they're like, you didn't make any sales today. It's like, yeah, because you put my booth in the middle of the garbage patch. What, like, WTF? So like right now, telling people, hey, jump into the big, gaming development side of things from these big publishers who are laying people off left, right, and center every single month. Almost, we have a huge story of hundreds of people losing their jobs. That's almost cruel to do that right now. Now, I think that if you tell them, hey, make your own studio, make your own indie project, cash flow it, don't rely on mega investors because that's all drying up. It's like make something like Pal World, make something like all of the indie games that we've played. I play a ton of indie games. I support a ton of indie games. I support an enormous amount of small indie studios. I buy a lot of indie games on Steam. I support a lot of them through monthly payments. There's a couple projects that I've been funding like $5 to in some cases $50 a month for like a few years now. So it's like right. That's the way to go. That's the way to make things better. Not this whole hey, come work for Microsoft because your position here is so guaranteed. It's like, no, it's not. They just destroyed one of their own studios and then said, "Gee, if we had more like small indie titles." You mean like Hi-Fi Rush? Yeah, whatever happened to that? You killed that studio. Oh yeah, I guess we did. Yeah, they didn't. We went to go have the money in the jacuzzi day, and there was like an inch less, and we found out it was because Hi-Fi Rush didn't sell a lot, so we were like, you're kind of spoiling my groove, man. Like I gotta get into the jacuzzi with all the money and swim around. Like what the hell? This is unacceptable. So yeah, we fired them, and I guess that's fine. But yeah, I think I'm rambling, but yeah, that's my thoughts on this. And like I said at the beginning, I'm very confused at this. This is so weird to come out and do this right now, right before the game launches in February. Like, what are you thinking? Like, it's been a really rough year for a lot of people. February is going to be a month where they've got a lot of bills to pay, not that many days to pay it. People may not have a lot of like cash sitting around. Why would if it came down to them deciding to buy your game or like Civ or any of the other 1,500 games that are releasing in February, why do you think insulting them would make them more likely to buy your game?
Right? That's some Delulu sort of attitude there.
It's very diluted, and it's very flat out. It's very worrisome. Like genuinely worried about it. So yeah. In other news, mods are great for Larian and Baldur's Gate.
Yeah! So like when I fired it up last time, I discovered they have an in-game mod manager, and like it does link a lot of stuff from the Nexus mods. But like, yeah, I just like typed in the search bar, I want this type of mod, and like say for example something with Shadowheart. So I just type in Shadowheart, and it pulls up all the mods with Shadowheart, and I'm just like yes, heck yes. And sorry, puppies just woke up and are having an argument.
Well, that's good. That's good time to call it. Hey, we have retooled the Maximum News Show. We now have a brand new host. Please pop on over. We'll try to do more and more of the episodes live. Excuse my hiccups. So yeah, if you want to get involved, jump in, please do so. We're really excited to get that relaunched. Yeah, so there's some news on there that we're going to be covering this week. So
yeah, thanks for everything, everybody, and chat with you soon. Bye.
Bye.